You're alone.
I was completely alone, yeah.
Well, sweet baby Jesus was with you, because to pull yourself back on the boat after 2 shark bites, that's, I'm going to say it's like a Trump, assassination attempt. This was,
Thank God.
yeah, this was a miracle.
Fight or flight, man.
Yeah, this was a miracle. Ahoy! This is your captain speaking, Greg Michael of Pinnacle Marine Group, Marine Surveyors, and welcome aboard the Naughty Buoys Boat Show. I'm joined by Captain Happy, Glenn Shadbolt, Marine Mechanic and Shipwright. And aboard this vessel, we talk everything about boats. The build, the mechanics, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We go where the seas take us. The topics will be endless. Electronics, marinas, restaurants, vacations, cruising and fishing. Our show includes live callers with real questions. Let's fare these waters together. Call 772-773-2600 every Tuesday between 5 and 5:30 p.m. Eastern. If you're a guest or a caller, you certainly are naughty. Ahoy, and welcome to Naughty Buoys Boat Show. I'm your host, Captain Greg Michael, Marine Surveyor, and sitting next to me is our beloved Captain Happy, Glenn Shadbolt, Marine Mechanic and Shipwright. And if you're a guest or a caller, you certainly are naughty. So some quick introductions. Glenn, say hi.
Hi.
That's it, hi. You got nothing else.
Oh, what do you want? You want me to sing a limerick?
I don't even know what a limerick is. It's okay.
Like you had your buddy from Nantucket, right?
Okay, it's a
Mary
limerick.
had a little lamb, you know.
Okay. All right, so listen, we got some awesome guests today. We have, who's been on the show before, world famous fisherman, Rufus Wakeman. Say hi, Rufus.
How's it going, gang?
Good. And we have his beloved son, Marlin Wakeman, which, what an appropriate name, right? Marlin?
Yeah, it fits the script.
Yeah, good. So that's awesome, bro.
Do you get a discount for that sailfish beer because of the Marlin and everything down here?
Fortunately not.
No, they're not
I
giving
guess
you
we're not drinking then. Okay, so no.
no freebies. Okay. So listen, we're very, very lucky to have these two on the show, father and son, and just great guys, great fishermen, so much knowledge. So again, thank you guys for being here, and we'll get on with the show. I'm sure everybody's real excited to hear what you guys have to say. So I always start with a joke.
Okay.
And you don't like my jokes.
It has nothing to do with me. Is the joke on them or is the joke on you? So time will tell. You could take a poll. Why don't you have a survey?
That's a little obnoxious, but okay. All right, so here's my joke. And Marlon, please don't take offense, but I found a shark joke.
Perfect. I'd love to hear it.
Okay, all right. Don't throw nothing at me. All right, here you go. So, a shark mom teaches her pup how to attack and eat a human who is swimming. She goes, see that human? Now we're going to feed. You first go towards him swiftly and pass by him. Then circle back. The pup says, okay. Now again, you charge him, but pass by, then circle back. The pup says, okay. And now you go at him full speed, mouth open, pass by him, and circle back. The pup says, this is ridiculous. I'm hungry. I don't want to waste my time any longer. The mom shark says, fine. Go have your meal while there's still plenty of shit inside of him. Good one?
That's good.
Not bad.
Do you know why sharks don't attack attorneys?
Why?
Professional, what is that?
Professional courtesy.
Professional courtesy.
Yeah, well, okay. All right, so in just a minute, we're going to have Marlin and Rufus talk fishing and certainly shark attacks, right? Oh, God, here goes the beer. Then we'll have a call-in question and answer segment. Just to let everybody know out there, again, our call-in number is 772-773-2600. All right, so we're going to start from the beginning. everybody who's been listening to the show, they've all heard Rufus, but we'll have Rufus interject at times and talk fishing and go back and forth, and we'll get in it. We'll start with Marlin because he's our primary guest today.
That's it.
So yeah, so let's talk about where it all started. So you're born to Rufus, so you're gonna fish.
Yeah, I mean, I started fishing, I'd say seriously, when I was like 12 years old, 6th grade, right when I got into middle school. Before that, I wasn't really into it too much. Mm-hmm. You know, he would bring me out there, and I would just kind of complain the whole day, wanting to go home.
Yeah,
get out of this. Yeah,
eat the sandwiches.
Yeah, exactly. But I started going out in a kayak outside of we live on the water, so I would just take the kayak out and started catching little snook and jack, and kind of developed my own love for it. And then, eventually that led into one day I'm like, hey Dad, so when can we go fishing? And I'm sure he was really just waiting for that day to happen. But since then it's been pretty much full throttle.
Wow. Proud dad. So you've learned a lot from Rufus.
Yeah, I mean, we would go to the Keys and all over the world almost fishing, when I was younger. At the time, I didn't know I wanted to do it for a profession, but eventually it did lead into that. Mm-hmm. Thank goodness. I mean, I don't know what else I'd be doing.
Before the show, I had a couple of guys call me. They said, who you having on tonight? And they said, Marlin Wakeman. They said, oh my God, yeah, Rufus's son. And, we were kind of talking back and forth, and they said, it's kind of like a professional athlete who has a son. Now he becomes the professional athlete. So I guess this is just handed down, right?
Yeah.
All the knowledge, all the talent, all the accolades that come with this I guess career is basically handed down. And then also you kind of go on your own and say, hey, Dad, you were right about that, but you're wrong about that. I'm going to do it this way, right?
Oh, that happens more than often now.
I can definitely say that he's taken it to a level that I wish I had been more applied in it. I was always just kind of an owner-operator and fished out of Jensen Beach, Florida, to where he's been in Costa Rica and the Dominican Republic professionally. Seen a whole lot more marlin and sailfish and stuff than I have, but he's done really well. Proud of him.
So that's good. Where have you fished?
Bahamas. Bahamas in Florida is where I started off mostly when I started working on the boats, and then went down to the Dominican Republic after that. That was my first real job away from home for a little bit. Couple months I was down there, and then went up to Virginia Beach, Maryland this last summer. Costa Rica, I think I said that. We went to Mexico. I've been there on a boat for a couple months. It's really all I can think of off the top of my head.
Have you done the Northeast Canyons, Hudson Canyon, all that?
So this past summer, I was actually up there. I'm not too familiar with the canyon names.
Right.
It's more of a pointy end type of problem, but I deal with the square end.
Yeah.
But we fished up out of there, and it was good. It was awesome. Insane white marlin fishing, some nice blue marlin. Yeah. We did not do any of the tuna fishing stuff up there, but did see a couple of them. It's a really cool fishery that they have up there for sure.
Yeah, Jersey always has that white marlin tournament. That's
Ocean City.
Yeah.
Maryland,
and Maryland, it's just huge.
Yep.
So,
he was in it.
Oh, you were in that tournament.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you do?
We had a heartbreaker. Lost a real big blue marlin on the gaff. But it was awesome. Just be able to see a fish of that caliber and have a shot at it was pretty cool.
So you're mating on boats, on these fishing boats.
Yep.
Okay. And do you have your captain's license?
I'm in the process of getting it right now. I passed my test. I'm just getting all my paperwork in now.
So did you go to the infamous Chapman School?
I did.
Good. Well, I'm good friends with those guys over there. Great school. I got to plug them. Phenomenal school.
Yep.
So, and your dad, he's wearing his hat, Captains for Clean Water. So again, I'll plug them too. Great cause.
Hey, I'll tell you what, with all of our water issues in the state of Florida, especially West Coast and East Coast Okeechobee, it's Captains for Clean Water really keeps everybody abreast of the situation.
Good plug, yeah. So
I got my boat by the Roosevelt Bridge, and that water gets awfully.
Yeah, that water's
dark.
real nice, isn't it?
You can't eat anything you catch there. It's like you got the snook and everything under the dock, and everybody's like, "Don't eat it."
I wouldn't. No.
So Marlon, what was your greatest experience and greatest fish? Give me something off the top of your head.
This past summer, actually, in the White Marlin Open, we had a shot at the biggest blue marlin I've never seen a blue marlin half the size of it, but we fought him for about 5.5 hours.
Wow.
And we got a gaff in him and kind of thought the fish was going to go up underneath the boat. So, put the boat in gear and unfortunately broke the leader off, and then the gaff pulled out. It all happened pretty quick and very unfortunate to see that happen. But I would definitely say that fish was by far the craziest thing I've ever seen on the water.
Guesstimate, what do you think that thing weighed? What do you think? How big?
I'll say 950.
Wow. It's a giant.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big fish. So now you got the bug.
Yeah, it's that one hurt pretty bad. I'm not going to stop, or I'm not slowing down anytime soon until I get to hang one near that, because I know, there's captains that have been doing this their entire lives, and to hang a fish of that size is a giant deal.
Let's go get poetic for a minute and go back to Hemingway, right? His whole life. So we hope you're not a Hemingway. Have to go that long, but I wish you luck in the next near future. So all right, we're gonna talk about what everybody's tuning in to listen to right now, right? So they all want to know about your shark attack.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about there.
Okay.
I was working on this boat that's here locally, a boat called Bucket List, and we were going down to Long Island, and we stopped in some
Wait, when you say Long Island,
Bahamas.
Great.
Southern Bahamas.
yeah.
And it was a great trip. We stopped in some
What kind of boat?
61 Garlington.
Oh, nice boat.
And it was a really good trip going down there. Had some good diving, some good fishing, caught, I believe, a white marlin on the way, and everyone was really happy. And we got down to Long Island. I think we were there I got bit on the 4th day that we were there. But, first 2 days, just kind of getting everything wrapped up from the trip. And then went bone fishing one day, got to do that on fly, which was really, really cool for me. And the next day, that was when, I got bit. We went to lunch. It was just a normal day. Got some conch salad, conch fritters, did that little thing. And on the way back, stopped at this other place and just kind of checking out the island. It was pretty cool. And we actually saw a couple pigs run across the road that day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool island down there. So, we went back to the marina, and I was walking around looking for a couple of my buddies that were on the boat next to me. They were out diving, and my captain went down to go take a nap, and the owner and his wife went up to the restaurant to go get something or a drink or something. And I was just working, getting some stuff done on the boat, and it was low tide, a lot of surge in the marina that day, and I just didn't take my time enough getting back on the boat. Next thing I know, I was in the water, and shark got me pretty quick. I would say about 2 seconds after I fell in, I got bit.
People cleaning the fish there, throwing the shit in the water.
Yeah, the fillet table is literally smack dab in the middle of the marina.
Bad place to be.
Yeah, and at all times, there's sharks swimming around that marina 24/7.
30 to 40 sharks in the marina.
What kind of shark do you know?
The one that bit me was a reef shark. I got bit by 2, actually, one on my shoulder and one on my leg, but one on my shoulder didn't really get me too good. The one on my leg, he definitely got a mouth, or not a mouthful, but, a mouth grab.
All right, so let's get this straight. First of all, why are there so many sharks in the marina?
There's a cleaning table.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but we, up north, we're sitting in marinas and we have cleaning tables, but we know sharks like.
They got bull sharks up everywhere down here.
No, I'm saying up north. So I'm ignorant, right? Just let's play I'm ignorant right now.
So
Because
the
we didn't
Bahama-
have this problem up there.
The Bahamas has a no, you can't kill sharks there. They got a law for that. So these sharks are, like he said, there's a fillet table in there, and they know that they're going to get free food in that marina. There's sport fishing boats down there fishing almost every day and bringing fish back in to fillet them up. All those carcasses go to the sharks pretty much. So anything that touches the water to them pretty much means food.
It's food. Yeah.
Yeah, so that would be the reason why it's so bad there. You can't kill them, and they're basically all residential sharks. Those sharks aren't going anywhere. Once they figure out, hey, if I stay around here for
I get food.
I get food. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would say that's why there's so many sharks in that marina for sure.
So you're standing on the dock at the marina, or you're sitting on your boat. You could see these sharks swimming around.
Yeah, I mean, I would wake up in the morning, do some stuff on the boat, take the trash up, and I'd have 5 of them following me up the dock.
Wow.
Yeah.
These are like pets.
Yeah, they're like dogs.
Thank God
This
they're
is
not that big.
this is incredible.
They're 3 to they're actually some of the biggest reef sharks in that marina that I've ever. For a reef shark, they're usually
Bigger than like here?
We don't have reef sharks here.
Yeah, we don't really
Oh, we
have
don't?
reef sharks here. No,
No,
we got
these
black
are the-
tips and
It's
I
a
see a lot of
Caribbean.
spinners.
That's
Yeah.
different. There's a Caribbean reef shark. They're a swarming shark, and there's a lot of them.
Wasn't a
They're
tiger.
very,
He
very
got lucky
aggressive.
it wasn't a tiger. It was
Tiger shark, you're gonna have time. You're gonna know he's coming. I mean, here comes something 10 feet long. You're gonna be able to. All right, what do I got to do to avoid this?
and what do you do? As a shark.
Square off and try to push
The
off
eye?
his nose. Just try to get your hands out and get your hands on his
They
nose.
say the nose, but what about
Literally.
the eye? Does the eye really determine?
Well, if a tiger shark or a big bull shark get you, you're probably not going to survive it as a general rule, no matter what you do. That is a shark with a giant set of muscles and real sharp teeth and big mouth, and they're coming into for keeps. The reef sharks and the other black tips, all your surfing things here, that's a bite and oh my God, I've got something bigger than me, So sharks have a self-preservation mode. Most of your surfing accidents are just a quick hand or an arm or a leg goes right in front of a shark in the white water of a wave, so they grab it. For instance, God bless him, the guy who died out here years ago, windsurfing or kiteboard surfing, he's steaming offshore on his kiteboard, and then when you turn around to turn back, you sink. So he literally sank probably within 10 feet of a bull shark, and it just grabbed his leg. It's all opportunistic, and it's a fast process.
Because we swim in the Indian, and we always worry about the bull sharks.
In the Indian River, over here in Jensen Beach, there are sharks there, but they're not.
Just a
I've
breed?
seen some big hammerheads down by the crossroads, and I've seen big hammerheads in the inlet, but I haven't seen
Up the
too
river,
many
but-
big bull sharks, but they are there. That being said, we caught one about 250, 300 off Nettles Island a few years ago during the Pogey run when the tarpon were in there. Rick Tatata caught it,
Yeah,
and
But that wasn't inside, that was outside, right?
in the river.
It was in
Oh,
the
they're
river.
in the river. Zach,
Yeah, but I just
Zach
thought they were
Hammer-
there to breed mostly.
So my buddy Zach Hammer Miller used to go over to the Sailfish Point Flats off of like House of Refuge. Now this guy's not normal. He set up a 14-foot step ladder.
Most Floridians
and they would
aren't,
catch-
but
no,
let's
he's
just
from up north. He's from Jersey.
From Jersey. There you go.
Okay. Have you ever heard of Bob the Garbage Man?
Yeah.
That's Zach Miller.
Yeah. Okay.
He's a good buddy of mine, and
Okay.
this guy is, Bob, to all you listeners out there, go to YouTube and type in Bob the Garbage
Right.
Man, because he's got like a 20-minute video. It is next level.
Yeah, he's
Talking
nuts.
about chunking for bass and the 1981 weak fish blitz at the 37th Street Bridge,
Right.
I mean, all just hysterical. But they used to go out and 14-foot step ladder catch bull sharks and lemon sharks right there out
my
in front of
God.
the House of Refuge.
That's crazy.
On a step ladder.
On a step
Come
ladder.
on, what's
Yeah.
wrong with you?
Yeah, well, he's from Jersey.
dinner.
That's what's wrong. He's from Jersey.
Yeah, but some of us fish to eat. You know how bad, because I'm such a terrible fishing, So I was out the other day, and I've been doing the smooth puffers because I can catch them and they're good eating.
Oh God, the fugu. That's what they are, fugu.
But they got
The
a lot of
puffers,
meat.
yeah, but
they're good eating.
Do you actually? You're lucky because they have strychnine in their body.
No, you just don't. If you lose meat because you can't touch the guts.
Right.
If you fillet them, you touch the guts, throw it out. So I haven't been catching anything lately. I caught a ladyfish. I was like, I'll try this. I can eat fucking dirt. Dude, I ate like half of it. I actually ate half a ladyfish.
Perfect.
I want to get back.
That's wild.
I want to get back to Marlin. So you're going to step on the boat.
Yep.
You kind of miss, and you go in the drink.
So yeah, I actually kind of bounced off the covering board. Like my foot hit it, and the next thing I know, like I'm to my elbows, and like I fell in, and immediately I grabbed back onto the boat. Like my head didn't even go like all the way underwater. Like I fall in, and like get my hands back on the boat, and right as soon as I grabbed the covering board, I think he came out from underneath the boat, and that's when he bit my leg and pulled me off of the boat because my hands were barely on it.
So he pulled you down.
Yeah.
All right. What kind of shark was this again?
Caribbean reef shark. It was a
shark.
good
How
better
big?
size. They said between 6 and 7 feet from the bite.
I'm looking at your scars. That mouth must have been huge.
Yeah, I mean
that's-
a
this is-
7 foot reef shark is a nasty animal. They can do some damage for sure.
Oh my God.
But
For the listeners, I wish this was visual. I'm looking at Marlin's scars, and no offense, bro, but it looks like, wow.
It was about 140 stitches.
140. Yeah, 140 stitches. Well, let me ask you this. So now you fall in, he drags you down, right?
Yep. So he when he bit my leg, he pulled me off the covering board and pretty much let go pretty instantly. Like grabbed me, pulled me down, and that's when I got ripped in. And then I kind of fell on top of him. Sorry, I didn't mean to clap like that.
No, you could do that.
And I felt him like bouncing all around me. And at that time, I was underwater, and I knew immediately, kind of what was going on. Yeah. And I opened up my eyes, and I could see like more sharks. Like I was kind of getting swarmed by them.
Right.
So at that point, I just kind of started flailing. Not really. I mean, people say, "Oh, go for the eye," or I'm sure if one grabs on your leg and it's not letting go, you might have a second. But I mean, go for the eye when you're in the water with 4 sharks.
Yeah, like who's thinking that?
No, I'm thinking, get the fuck out of the water.
Right.
So, I got bit by that one, got back up to the surface, got my left hand back on the covering board. And when I reached for my right hand, as soon as my right hand touched the covering board, another one came up and basically just felt like somebody punched me in my back right shoulder. And, I knew another one was trying to bite me then. And that actually like kind of gave me even more of an adrenaline rush to pull myself out of the water and into the boat. Wow. At that moment. And yeah, I mean, when I got back in the boat, I looked down at my leg and it was just like, white, fleshy.
All right, so let's stop there.
All right.
So you got bit twice by 2 different sharks.
Yeah.
Oh my. Here's a question everybody's going to want to know. Was it painful?
Oh, right when it happened, it was...
No. That's it.
Right when it happened, it didn't hurt. Like if you were to look at it and been like, it didn't hurt like that. I mean, obviously it felt like something sharp bit my leg, but it didn't hurt extremely bad. I think it was just so quick and it, just cut everything.
Your adrenaline.
My adrenaline, everything was going.
It's like getting shot when you're at battle. It's like you don't got time to think about that.
Yeah, I mean, I knew what happened.
So it wasn't like bite. Oh my God! Ow! It wasn't that.
No, it was like bite, pulled me in, and then
you felt the pressure.
It felt like kind of like a bear hug, like something just bear hugged my leg for a second and let go.
Right.
And then
what about the shoulder bite? Did that hurt? Because now you're cognitive.
That one felt like somebody just punched me in my back shoulder. Because I think what happened, he came up and like his nose hit me first,
right,
and then one of his teeth like grazed my back shoulder. Like show you. It's just that little.
Oh, that's not bad. The knee one, I can say the knee one looks pretty good.
Yeah, no. So that one didn't really
need a tattoo with the flat on your leg.
This one more just kind of whiffed it, I would say. Which I got lucky because if he bit me, I might have not been able to get out of the water at that point.
Right. So you're talking about pressure and like a bat hit you in the back, and the leg kind of. So it wasn't like. You cut yourself and 2 seconds later you go, oh my God, I'm in pain. My finger.
No,
it wasn't like that at all.
No.
All right, so now you get back on the boat. You pulled yourself back on the boat.
Yeah. There was nobody saw this happen. There was.
You're alone.
I was completely alone. Yeah.
Well, sweet baby Jesus was with you, because to pull yourself back on the boat after 2 shark bites, that's, I'm gonna say it's like a Trump. Assassination attempt. This was,
Thank God.
yeah. This was a miracle.
Fight or flight, man.
Yeah, this was a miracle. So
Yeah,
now,
it was definitely one of those moments for sure.
so now you get back on the boat. Mm-hmm. Are you bleeding like a sieve?
So I looked down, saw the white flesh. Obviously I got bit, and then I started going to the door. I was on the port side of the boat. The door was on the starboard side of the boat. By the time I got over to the door, hit the button, yelled my captain's name 2 or 3 times. He came out, and I looked back down. My whole leg was basically just covered in blood from here all the way down to my foot.
Oh my!
And at that point, I was like, blood loss. Everything started playing in my head, and I was completely aware of everything that was going on. So, he came up. I took my shirt off and wrapped it around my leg as quick as I could, and he cut this rope that was on the boat that we used for a dredge pull down, and used that as the tourniquet in the meantime.
Let's back up. Let's
There
back
was
up.
not much blood, really? Well, it's healed a little bit, but
Look at the holes in his leg.
Nah,
He had
it
that
was-
much blood.
Well, it just depends what they hit. You can.
Well,
If his femoral,
If it hit my femoral
artery, he wouldn't.
it wouldn't be.
I know, but I'm
So
just
let's
saying. we both-
back up. Why do you think the sharks let you go, though?
So everything that they eat that goes in the water there is usually, I would say,
Dead.
dead in 35 degrees, because it's all cold. I mean, everybody's throwing in fish that they're filleting, so it's all out of ice.
Right.
And they probably haven't bit any. I mean, I'm 150 pounds. I'm not, that I don't weigh that much, but I mean, they're not eating anything in there that's 150 pounds. So I think probably came up, hit my leg, realized I wasn't a fish, maybe warm blood.
You're not food.
Yeah,
you don't
then-
taste good to them, right?
Yeah,
Right.
I don't know if they can really taste anything. They kind of just.
But they're fish too,
Okay,
just like what?
So
You try to
tell
care.
us, Rufus.
All right. The shark is a very sophisticated animal. They've been around for millions of years. There's processing going on in their little pea brain that is happening at lightning speed that we have no clue.
Right.
They all have a self-preservation mode, right?
Right.
So it bites him. It's bigger than normal. It's hot, not 40 degrees or 35 degrees.
like
coming out of the
seawater,
cooler.
right? Yeah.
Right. It's. I mean, everything they eat is a snapper carcass to a tuna carcass,
Right.
a dolphin carcass. That's what they eat. It's all generally pretty cold because it just came out of a cooler, filleted and in the water, and it.
And
tastes,
even in their natural
it all
habitat,
tastes like fish.
Right.
That doesn't taste like,
Like
fish.
fish.
And
Even-
when in their gums are sensory organs, they have the ampullae of Lorenzini, which cover their nose, and their snout, which is all gelatin-filled sensory organs. Their nervous system is insane. Far more. Okay, we used to be able to smell the bear. You know what I mean when I say that? When Ugg and Zug were sitting by the fire, they'd go, "Hey Zug, I can smell the bear."
Well, those are the
We
ones that
can't
passed
smell
down the genes, because the ones that
anymore.
couldn't got ate by the bear.
Right. So the deal is so the shark, it bit him. It went, oh my God, it's bigger, it's hot, and then all of a sudden, here comes 100 pounds down on top of the shark,
Right.
and the shark lets go.
But it's like
I
fishing but it's like fishing. That's why I can't fish, because I do all these things. I put bait out there, and the fish bites, and it goes, "This isn't what I want." And I'm like,
Dude, you
just
want
the
to
same-
catch a fish, jump in the water.
That being said, though, I guarantee you, though, if I didn't get out within that
Right.
2-second
Right.
window, I would have been torn to shreds.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
would have just
Yeah.
came out.
They
and
have
kept
those on the
coming at you.
videos. Those reef sharks. They do that little.
Yeah, no, they
because
go
there's
into
millions of
frenzy.
little ones. And it's like piranhas, man.
But-
They just
but-
do this like freaky dance.
Rufus, let me ask you a question. I've always heard this kind of rumor. Sharks don't like humans. They don't like the taste. What do you think of that?
I mean, I haven't seen the questionnaire for the shark, but generally, most people are recovered from the water.
Right.
They're missing a leg, or they, missing an arm or something like that.
Right.
And the ones that don't come out alive usually have, most of the body is there.
So they're not eating.
And they're not necessarily focused on eating a human. They don't say, oh my God, there's a human, I'm going to go take a bite.
Right.
It's something that's in their domain, and it is their domain. And we're not part of that domain. We like force ourselves into it,
Right. We're more like seal meat than fish meat.
Okay. All right. So the shark lets you go. You pull yourself up. You're bleeding. You're on the deck. They tie a tourniquet, basically. Mm-hmm. What happens? Where do you go? How's it happen?
My captain came out. I got my shirt around my leg, and then we put the tourniquet over that, cinched it, and then he went to go get help. So I sat there for, 30, 45 seconds, so my leg elevated on the cooler, just kind of sitting there like, shit, this is really happening. And so they came back. There was a bunch of other people at that point. My leg was still bleeding a lot. They, got a bunch of gauze on it, even more pressure with the tourniquet. At this point, I believe there was about 4 or 5 people around us. And I was kind of like, not in and out at that point. It's just my memory's a little splotchy, I would say.
Did you lose consciousness at all?
I did.
You did?
Yeah. So I don't know how much.
So you went into shock, lost consciousness.
Yeah, but
which is probably better.
I didn't. Well, I was in and out of consciousness in the car ride.
Okay.
So
they take you off the boat in a car.
Yeah, they get me.
Because you're in the Bahamas.
Yeah, they get me in a wheelbarrow on the dock, and they wheeled me up the dock with a wheelbarrow that they usually put the fish carcasses in, or the fish in to get from the boat to the fillet table.
It's a Marlin.
It's a Marlin. That was good.
Yeah.
You look at it in fillet. Is he still alive? Those guys are sharper than the next.
So they take you in a fish barrel.
Yeah.
Wheelbarrow, and they take you in a car, and where do you go?
We go up in this van, and get me in the back of this van, and luckily they were able to lay all the seats down in the back of this van, so it was like me, my captain, the owner, and one other dude with us. And I remember we pulled out and started just hauling ass to the infirmary. I remember I was still bleeding a lot, I guess. I wasn't really looking at my leg. I was just more focusing on I don't know.
Stay alive.
Yeah.
Try to keep your heart rate down.
Yeah.
You gotta really
I remember my captain, he was like, hey, this is going to hurt probably. I'm going to have to shove the gauze the gauze tape in your leg because it's, bleeding really bad. And I'm pretty sure when he did that is when I passed out the first time. And then
So now you're feeling pain.
Yeah, no, it hurt. It's starting to hurt now. Yeah. I'm, completely aware of the pain at this point.
Okay.
And so he shoves the gauze tape into it, and from what he told me, that's, he just watched my eyes roll in the back of my head.
Right.
And the guy it was 2 sailboat dudes that were down there on the sailboat, and that was their van that we used. And I guess one of the guys that was with him goes, he's dying or some shit. Or,
what?
Yeah, some crazy stuff. And my captain's like, he just passed out. It's all good. Just, everyone relax.
So the sailboater said he's dying.
Yeah.
Typical sailboater, right?
Yeah. Waffy.
Yeah.
It just hasn't
Full
seen
of
stress.
encouragement.
Yeah.
No,
a lot of
I like
people after
sailboaters. I got to take that back. But go ahead.
So we drive to the infirmary, and, if you've been on Long Island, it's like a straight road.
Yeah.
And potholes, and we're going every bit of 60 miles an hour, and it's I guess pretty crazy.
How long from the boat?
About 8 miles, I believe, was the infirmary. So we get there, and
you're bleeding.
At this by the time we got there, they had it under control, decent amount.
Yeah.
And I remember getting out of the car and kind of walking into the infirmary, and I'm looking around, and it looks like some shit out of like a prison infirmary from like the 80s or something like that, like. Little flickering light over here and rust stains everywhere and shit.
Clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get
sanitary.
I get in there, and at this point I'm conscious and I'm aware, and the first thing that the guy asked me was when's your last tetanus shot? I'm like, dude, I don't know. Just
tetanus shot.
Just fucking.
I just got bit by 2 sharks.
Yeah.
Tetanus, really?
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they gave me one of that, and then after that started, the stitches that I got in the Bahamas just kind of to put me back together.
All right, so they stitch you up in the Bahamas. Mm-hmm. How many stitches?
I believe that time it was only 45, but they were using I mean, it was.
So this is field dressing.
This is just get them.
This is triage, right?
There's a half an inch between each stitch.
Yeah.
You know, it ain't a pretty job. It's Frankenstein.
Yeah.
But that's all it is. It's a MASH hospital.
Right.
So
now-
basically a mobile army surgical hospital where they're going to get you in semi one piece. They're going to medicate you and get you on a plane, helicopter, whatever to get out of there.
Was there a witch doctor to give you like
Well, his name is Dr. I'm going to say his name was Dr. Lightborn, and I will be forever in his debt,
Yes,
you know?
absolutely. Yeah, good. Shout out to Dr. Lightborn.
Yes.
I mean, yes, absolutely. But no joke, you won't even remember this, but your dad will. So Hawkeye and the rest of the MASH unit, they weren't there. What?
No. Hot Lips. No, she wasn't there.
Lips wasn't.
Right, and Trapper. Yeah, they weren't there, yeah.
And Marlin's looking at us like,
Yeah, what are you guys talking about? So anyway, your grandmother's favorite show was MASH.
yeah,
With
it was a
Alan
TV
Alda
show.
and Wayne Rogers and I can't remember, Harry Morgan Stevenson was the other.
Yeah.
But it is one of the best shows. It went on for about 12 or 15 years and it was just
Awesome
it's
show.
one of the best scripted shows ever.
Yeah,
But
awesome
yet
show.
we still send our boys to Afghanistan.
Yeah, well,
Let's not get into politics.
we
yet.
don't. You and I don't, but those people do.
All right, so now, what do you do? You kind of leave. I'm trying to get my train of thought. So you leave. You leave this hospital, this MASH hospital, and what do you do now? Where do you go?
So they were trying to get a flight there that night, and I don't believe I can't remember exactly what it was. I don't think someone's plane wasn't where it should have been, or they used it, because there was multiple people like offering to come and get me. Mm-hmm. And then the Coast Guard, I want to say they have their helicopter. It was like 50 miles out of range for them because they need to have enough time for like hover time and
fuel and
all that. So I was out of range for them. So our other options was to wait till the next day. And at this point, I'm stable. You know, it's not like I'm going to die overnight. So after that, we went back to the boat, and the owner of the boat that I was working on at the time was able to get a hold of somebody with a King Air.
Wow.
Yeah, and they flew over the next morning, I believe at around 10:30 to get me.
So you're stitched up, and you got to wait till overnight to get to a real hospital.
Yeah, so like the other thing that when I first got there, you know, they gave me a shot of Dilaudid or whatever, morphine, whatever they gave me. So like immediately, that's why you kind of see the pictures. I'm sitting there giving a thumbs up, and my legs all torn to shit.
You're out of it.
Yeah, I'm high as a kite at this point.
Right.
And everyone's like, "Oh, he's in such great spirits." I was just like,
Yeah.
you know, feeling pretty good.
NEM.
Yeah. So yeah, we go back to the boat, and you know, I'm pretty drugged up and kind of hanging out with my friends that were on the boat next to me at this point. We're all just kind of like, you know, taking it all in.
Yeah.
So I go to bed, wake up at about 2 a.m, and just like it felt like a heartbeat was in, you know, my whole leg, just throbbing. Yeah, and it was awful pain, and they didn't have any.
You had a lot of salt in that wound, you got to remember.
Yeah, it was pretty nasty. So
Unless they cleaned it out good, but still.
they cleaned it as good as they could, you know, before they stitched me back up. But
So now what happens? You get on this King Air airplane, and
So
where do you fly to?
we flew to
West Palm.
West Palm, yeah. And right after that, my dad was waiting there in the truck with my buddy, and we went right into St. Mary's Hospital, and they were waiting for me. So then I ended up getting surgery that night at about 8 o'clock, I believe. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I want to say it was 100. It was about 45 stitches from the stitches they gave me over there, and I want to say like 140 after the surgery. So that just kind of, you know, goes to show you how big the initial stitches I had in my leg were.
So when you say surgery, now they're doing the micro stuff.
Yeah.
They pull out all those big stitches and stuff. Go
Yeah.
ahead, Rufus.
So it was when all this transpired the night prior. I called my friend Dr. John Robinson, whom I grew up with in Palm Beach, neurosurgeon. He worked at Cleveland. He worked at Martin Memorial, and then when it became Cleveland Clinic, he bailed and went to St. Mary's. So I called him and said, "Look, John, yada yada yada. Kid got bit." And he goes, "Oh boy." I go, "Help me out here, pal." Well, And so he called the CEO of St. Mary's, and they said, "We will treat him, get him here whenever." I said around noonish.
So where's St. Mary's though?
It's in West Palm Beach. It's a level 4 trauma hospital, and it has an incredible program. Dr. Borrego is the attending doctor that we were going to see, a gentleman who immigrated from Cuba in the 60s. And in 2012, they brought a child in who had been bit by a shark and had been put back together, badly infected. And somebody made the statement, "What antibiotics should we use for shark bites?"
Right.
Dr. Borrego said, "Well, I'm going to find out." And for the next several years, through grant money, he went out and caught sharks and did buccal swabs of their mouths and grew the cultures in a petri dish and came up with the proper antibiotics for coastal sharks, marina sharks, and different species and so forth.
So wait a minute. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
The bacteria in this shark's mouth
And the worst
could
are
have killed you.
And the worst sharks are sharks that live in marinas because they're eating. Everyone,
Garbage.
Yeah,
And they eat a lot. They eat more often than, like an oceanic whitetip might eat once a week.
Right.
That's why they'll crash your teaser, your squid chain.
Right.
When you're down off Long Island dragging a squid chain, they'll come up and eat your squid chain because it's something moving. Oceanic whitetip is like the polar bear of the sea. If you encounter a polar bear on the ice, he's gonna eat you.
Right.
If you encounter an oceanic whitetip way offshore, he's gonna eat you, or he's gonna try. So those sharks might not eat but once a week or so. As to where these reef sharks in the marinas are eating every day and multiple times a day.
Yeah,
they got meat hanging from their teeth.
I'm interested. You don't know what kind of cocktail they gave him, antibiotic.
I want to say doxycycline and one other one that begins with an L. That was a 1 pill a day, and it was a horse pill.
Yeah.
And then the doxycycline was, I think, 3 times.
So now how long are you in the hospital?
Overnight. So about 1 day, I would say.
Yeah.
Probably 20 hours.
So and they got you on morphine. They got you on everything.
Yeah.
You're pretty.
The most pain I was actually in was when I woke up out of the surgery. When I had my wisdom teeth taken out and I went under anesthesia, and I remember waking up and I was like pretty dazed and didn't really know what was going on. When I woke up out of this surgery, I knew exactly what happened. I was like, I just woke up out of surgery and my leg really hurt. So it was like immediate pain.
So the adrenaline, the shock, for 2 days really didn't bother you until you come out of surgery. Right. Now you're relaxed. You're on medicines. You're on this, and now your cognitive thought goes, "Oh shit,
it hurts."
Well, it hurt."
But so there was another component too.
That's what happens.
Dr. Borrego took out all the stitches. He went to a finer, tighter pattern, a finer suture gauge, and a much tighter pattern.
Looks good.
Also, there just happened to be an orthopedic surgeon who had finished his rounds and said, "Wow, kid got bit by a shark. I'd like to check that out." So this gentleman, and what a nice, kind man.
Yeah.
He basically volunteered. I'll be there. And Dr. Borrego said, "Please, I'd like to have you. We're going to open the knee up, because that you can see."
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, he's got.
So he had 2 punctures in his kneecap from underneath.
In the kneecap
In the kneecap itself. No tendon damage, no ligament damage, and no joint damage. But they had to open up the wound, use some spreaders to open the wound up to really look in there. And then they irrigated it with 3 liters of saline.
Clean out that kneecap.
They cleaned out the kneecap and then poured liquid antibiotic into it, sewed them up, and boom.
Marlin, that shark could have taken your leg off, couldn't he?
No.
I mean, if he head shaked, yeah. So what happened was, he bit me and basically I fell in and he let go. If he grabbed my leg and then shook his head a couple times,
You're gone.
It probably would have got my femoral and then
He would have bled to death.
Yeah.
Maybe,
He went-
yeah. I mean, we're an inch away from his femoral, half, 3/4 of an inch away from the femoral
Wow.
artery. The femoral artery is a deep artery, and the one saving grace is that Caribbean reef sharks don't have deep, big, giant teeth.
Yeah, but I've also watched a 4.5 foot Caribbean reef shark eat a 12-pound mutton and saw it in half, and I have it on video on my GoPro.
Yeah, right.
The bone is
yeah.
thick, but it's just that, are you going to get to the hospital in time before you bleed out?
That's
what it
you're
all
not.
comes
I
down
mean,
to.
if your femoral artery gets hit, it's about
done.
4 minutes.
If they-
right,
And that's if and it's 4 or 5 minutes if you're laying on the ground already, not trying to get out of the water.
yeah.
Here's a good question. So again, I actually had a caller earlier. I said, no, you got to call back later. But we're not taking calls right now. But he called me. He asked me a question. He said, please ask him this question. I said, okay. He said just like this, straight out. Do you hate sharks now?
I don't hate them. I mean, I've already been surfing and, seeing the spinners and blacktips that we have here. I don't hate sharks. I think there's a problem in the Bahamas. I think there's a big problem off of South Florida as well. I don't hate sharks at all. I mean, I've dealt with them my whole life, and, I've surfed and dove since I was, call it 12. So, I got 12 years of being in the water with them, and I've never hated them. I do think there's things that we can do to make, them not as aggressive towards people, such as feeding them and...
Well, my marina. We have a cleaning table at my marina. Don't throw fish parts in. If you're throwing the fish parts in, they're coming.
So,
we just have catfish, so we're lucky.
In Long Island, where I got bit, their break walls, 200 feet away from the fillet table. They could easily take the fish carcasses, put them in a wheelbarrow, wheel them over to outside of the break wall, and now you're not throwing them in the middle of the marina.
Right.
But
So you harbor no ill feelings towards sharks because you understand that's their natural instinct is to
100%.
right.
Yeah.
But you also have this, hey, we can do a better job at controlling shark attacks and things like that.
Well, we have to police our behavior.
Right.
I mean, I think
no fish parts at the marina.
You can't police the shark's behavior. I mean, they're an animal. They're instinct. That's all they are. We got to police our behavior. So you can't, you're not going swimming in places where sharks hang out.
I mean, my buddy had a bag of dry erase markers on their boat.
Yep.
Dry erase markers went in the water. The sharks ate them.
Oh.
So that just goes to show you, I mean, anything that touches the water in that marina, they're going to take a bite out of.
If it goes like this.
If
Something slaps the water, they go.
I mean, I threw.
It's instinct.
I was emptying out my bait box, just throwing ballyhoo in the water, and our shore power cord's like dipping in the water by maybe a 1/4 inch. One came up and tried to bite the shore power cord.
Yeah. Well, I've seen sharks, bite boats. They bite everything.
Yeah.
Bite engines. They'll do it. So, outboard engines. So, okay. So you respect the sharks.
Yeah.
You got any? You want any revenge on that shark?
I mean, there's a problem that needs to be dealt with down there. Hopefully they do it in the correct way.
You're not going down in the middle of the night and starting cleaning out that marina?
Nah, I won't say nothing on here, but
There's too many of them. You're never gonna
there's-
win.
Well, if
There's
you're going,
definitely
I'll
too
come
many of
with
them.
you.
Hey, two
You know?
hooks and a 5-foot chunk of cable.
Yeah,
let 'em
you
fight
can-
it out.
yeah, a couple concrete buckets and some cable.
I don't throw an
I got-
M80 in the water every now and then. Now.
I gotta tell you, sometimes these shore power cords and stuff, they fall in the water. Everything gets electrocuted. I seen it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that could solve the problem
right,
quick.
right.
But all right. So and you're still working on charter boats,
They're not, basically, yeah, sport fishing boats, yes.
right? Okay, good. And you're fishing and you're still having a good time.
Yes, sir.
And again, we thank God you're alive. I'm looking at your scars. I'm just saying, I hate to keep comparing it to Trump, but we're talking millimeters here.
Oh, yeah.
So you could have easily.
So, as a parent, I can guarantee you that is not a text or a phone call you want to get.
Never.
It is just it's like time stood still when I read the text.
Yeah. Who texted you, Rufus?
The wife of the owner of the boat, you know, and it's, hi, this is Lynn, and you know, we're at the clinic. Marlin got bit by a shark. We've got him, you know, he's okay, we think, you know, that, you know, something, we got the bleeding stopped. And so, you know, I mean, then I go to the voicemail and I think, God, I listened to I saw the text before the voicemail, because the voicemail was, we're airlifting him to Miami.
Wow.
And, you know, and now
that's when panic starts.
Right, right. You know, so I hit send on the number, and she must have just gone here and handed him the phone, and he's like, hey, Dad, hey, how you doing, Dad? Because he's all wrecked.
But thank God he's
and the photographs of him are great, because there he is with a mangled leg, doing the, you know, the old surfer, what do they call that?
Shaka.
The shaka, you know, like, the big grin on his face. And
so I want to pick on Rufus for a minute.
Yep.
So you mentioned to him early that, you know, I had to go fishing with Dad. It was fun. So I had boats since I was 10, and my stepfather wanted to get a boat. So we had a 72 Mako 19. And flounder season used to start March 17th up in Long Island. Yeah. And it rained every day of March 17th, which is St. Patty's Day. There was no flounders because they were all in the Quad Canal, but since I was the older boy and he was going to kill himself because he couldn't drive a boat, I had to go out in 40-degree weather in the rain, because it rained every day. So we could go out on the opening day of flounder season and not really catch anything, but freeze my ass off in the center console. Is that what it's like? Were you designed to be the boy that had to take him fish? Was it like that or no?
I mean,
take his mic away.
You remember blackfishing in November and December in New York?
Are you talking tautog?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I remember going blackfishing and
yeah, but the blackfish are easy to catch. The flounders on March 17th, they were still in the mud in Huntington. Only the Quad Canal they came out, so you just froze just so he could get out and go to work the next day. And said, I want fish.
All right, so thank you for sharing this story.
No worries.
Listen, man, brave kid. I don't know if I could have went through it as brave as you. Definitely not.
Hey, me and you ain't getting up the side of that boat,
no,
buddy.
Get up on the side.
We're just gonna hold on till we're dead, and then we're gonna let go.
Right.
Meanwhile, our legs or lower appendages are gone.
But anything else you want to add, or we pretty much covered it?
I mean, yeah, that's as much as I can, you know, think of. Normal day, slipped.
It just happens.
Happened real quick. I mean, I'd say from the time I fell in the water till the time I got out of the water was probably a total of 5 to 7 seconds.
That's it?
Yeah, it was quick.
All right. So listen, we're getting callers. So I just want to remind everybody again, the number to call in is 772-773-2600. We're here to take any questions. Marlin, Rufus, myself, and Glenn. And Glenn keeps burping in the mic, so I'm going to kill him. But we're going to take some calls here now. And, you know, I just wanted to say one thing before we do. It's anything, hunting, fishing, you know, anything we do, even in life. You know, you live every day. You don't know what's going to happen. You got to have faith, and you got to just trust, and you got to just say to yourself, you know what, today, you know, might be the day, so have fun.
That's it, yeah.
All right, we got a call. Let me take this.
A moment changes everything.
Hi, welcome to the Naughty Boys Boat Show. Who am I speaking with, and who's your call for?
This is Daniel Fletcher. My call's from Marlin Wakeman.
Okay, Marlin.
What's happening?
So, from what I understand, the docks and the marinas over there are pretty infested with sharks. So, I just wanted to know what your thought process was as you were falling in. Did you know what was going on?
Yeah, so pretty much as soon as I fell in the water, I knew, you know, kind of how screwed I was. I mean, if there was any place I could have fell in, that would be the last place I would choose. I've been to many marinas in the Bahamas, and this is by far the worst one that you can slip up and make a mistake like that. So I would say as soon as my toes hit the water, I knew pretty much how bad I fucked up.
Wow. So even knowing, I'm sorry to interrupt the caller here, but even
Yeah.
when you're on that boat or you're on the dock, don't fall in.
I mean, at night we would have conversations about it, like sitting there drinking beers with my buddies. Like, man, could you imagine? Like, you'd be so screwed. Like, I guess the only way up's the back of the boat, and luckily I fell in where the back of the boat was and not up off the bow, because then there would have been nothing to grab onto.
Wow. Yeah, you all. I keep saying God because it is, because everything happened just right. Even your dad knowing the people to treat you. I mean, it's a miracle. It's an absolute miracle.
100%.
All right.
Amazing stuff.
Yeah. All right, man. Did we answer your question?
Yeah. I just wanted to know what was going on in his head. That's pretty amazing. And like you said, everything happened just the way it should have. And God bless.
Yeah. All right. Hey, listen. Thank you for calling in, and please subscribe and listen.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks, brother.
Bye-bye.
He's got a good point. Well, were you in panic mode or no? Just survival mode?
It was, I mean, there wasn't enough time to really go into, like, panic. It was just like, shit, you know? And the fact that, I mean, when I bounced off the covering board.
Yeah, so, all right, let's take this call, and we'll pick that up, Marlin.
Yeah.
Hi, welcome to Naughty Boys Boat Show. Who am I speaking with, and who's your question for?
Yeah, my name is Danny.
Hey, Danny, how you doing?
Okay, how's it going?
Good.
I have an older 27-foot Pursuit. I'm trying to sell it.
Okay.
What's the best way to sell this boat?
Well, if it's an older Pursuit, it's not worth a lot of money. So I'll tell you what. I mean, brokers are great. Listen, love brokers, but if there's not a lot of meat on the bone for the broker, so if this is a $20,000 or $30,000 boat, it's probably not worth giving to a broker. Although some might take it for a flat fee, $2,000, $3,000, whatever it may be.
Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, there you go. So Rufus just said it. So we got a lot. Yeah, we get a lot of success on Facebook Marketplace. So just take some pictures, list it, but be prepared because they're going to be calling you, and you got tire kickers, and they're going to complain about everything. But everybody's going on Facebook Marketplace for everything these days.
What kind of power does it have?
What's that?
You got it's an outboard Pursuit. You got a Mercury on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know what? It's an older boat. I would say throw it on Marketplace, Facebook. You could throw it on eBay and see what you get. Because again, these brokers, a lot of them, they just don't want to do a $2,000 deal or $1,000 deal. So, but if that don't work, I could, call back. I could certainly recommend some good broker.
Okay.
All right, Dan.
All right.
Hey, thanks for calling in.
All right.
Take care, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Yeah. So these older boats, you see them all over Facebook, but
Yeah, I mean, well, what year was it?
He's saying older. I don't know the year, but
I mean, 27 Pursuit's not a bad boat. I mean, it's
Right. But it's
I mean,
it's an older boat. It's probably 20, 30 grand. Probably due for. Glenn's gonna say it. He always
As
says
long
it.
as you don't put a moisture meter on it, it'll be fine.
Or Glenn's gonna say, due for a repower. Due for a repower. So
I'm definitely.
yeah. So I think that's it. So I want to pick up where we left off with you. When you said, there was no panic mode, right?
Yeah, no, it was just, basically, I knew how bad I screwed up, and the fact that the boat was right there, and, I knew I could get myself out of it. It was just, fight or flight.
Right.
It was not, I mean, if I did panic, I probably would have been torn to shreds, so thank God I didn't do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, real luck. I mean, I'm sure you can look up YouTube videos, Long Island, Bahamas, sharks in the marina, and there's videos all over the place of people throwing carcasses, and when those things go into frenzy mode, it's a pretty scary sight.
I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
Nobody videoed you though, right?
Nah.
Just watch reef sharks. The things that they get, they're not that big, but they're like piranhas. But they're 90, 100-pound piranhas.
Yeah.
Or
And so I mean,
70,
like I was saying to you earlier, I mean, like I've seen a lot of reef sharks over in the Bahamas, and the ones in this marina are some of the biggest ones I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah, they're giant. For a reef shark, they're big.
Because they don't swim a lot. They got free food. Just like Americans, all we do is just sit and eat. They're like, I don't need to swim around to look for food.
Exactly.
Well, Glenn, you're fishing off the beach now for shark, right?
Not yet. I'm trying. I got my shark. When I got my Florida license, I took the test, and it was like all these things I didn't know, that it's illegal to even pull the shark out of the water. You got to use all this, and
Yeah. But Florida has a lot of different regulations than we had up north.
There's just so many different fish. There was only like a dozen edible fish down here. There's 3,000. And I caught a ladyfish the other day, and I was like, oh, I'll try to eat this. I could eat dirt, man. I mean, I could only eat half of it. I was like, oh, man. They got some nasty tasting fish down here, man. I'm telling you.
I was on
ladyfish is a crazy thing to eat, I will say.
Oh, dude, it was I could only do half. I tried.
You couldn't pay me to eat one.
That's like eating, what do you call that? The,
bait.
Yeah, bait.
Dead bait that's been thawed out.
Sea robins or, stuff like that.
Sea robins, the Italians do it right. It's just...
I got to tell you something. I was under the Jensen Beach Bridge, and I'm fishing, bringing things up, just pulling things up, and there's two guys in a boat, and they're like, don't keep that. Don't eat that. Yeah. Don't touch that. Don't... I'm like, what do I keep? They're like, we'll tell you when you keep something good. It's a lot of fish under there. So that's it. All right, we're running out of time. I'd like to get more calls, but we're really running out of time. So the phones are lighting up, but we have to go. So at the end of the show, I always like to give a tip. And, before we do that, Glenn... you were talking to me earlier before the show. You were talking to me about you went up to New York recently. That's why we missed the show last week. So just for the people out there who are going to ask this question, I know it's coming, right? Winterizing a boat. I'm going to ask you because everybody's asking me, and I'm in Florida now. Leave me alone. I don't have to winterize a boat. I don't have to. But Glenn, you're going up to New York and you're winterizing. You're doing these things. Here's a great question we get asked all the time. Ready? When you winterize a boat, fuel tank empty or full?
You're not going to win that. Okay, so technically, the problem with New York is you can't get recreation gas. If you can get recreation gas with no alcohol, stabilize it with 360, stable. I don't want to plug things, and then you leave it full. The problem is that alcohol is a problem. So from there you can't win. If you fill it and they didn't check it right, if you want to do it, the 10-15% alcohol, your whole tank might be pumped.
Right.
So but then you get water. So you can leave it a quarter a tank, okay, and then fill it with premium in the spring, or you leave it half a tank.
Right. And
fill it with premium in the spring, and then check your filters after your first run,
or
fill it with recreation.
Well, that there you go. We get that question 100 times a day when we were in New York. 100 times a day, people asking the same question, and you just answered it. So I don't want to hear the question anymore, listeners. We're done with that question. So
Rec 90, right?
But you can't get it up north.
Really?
It's difficult. Only like 2 places, and it's a horror.
Yeah. So you mentioned Quag.
Well, the Quag Canal.
Yeah, no,
I worked in West Hampton for 10 years. So the Quag Canal is the first place on Long Island where the flounders would come out of the mud.
I know where Quag Canal is. I used to live in Bellport and out in East Hampton.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with Peconic Bay and Mauritius and
on March 17th. But no, I was in Huntington Bay.
Did you know Mike Argenti? Argenti's Mobile Marine.
The Greek, the diesel guy with the big truck.
The Grumman. He was one of my dearest best friends.
Yeah.
I got that a little bit. The greasers got him.
He was something. He was. He
had his name, the big words.
Argenti's Mobile, right. You got it. He was really an excellent ex-Marine Corps, really good mechanic.
Another tip to everybody.
Wait, save your tip. I'm doing my tip.
I got to finish
you do your tip first.
So I've been a boat boat mechanic for over 50 years, certified since '84, in a non-ventilated place, spraying, all the degreasers and all those things that say nervous damage.
Yeah.
And that's what took Argenti. The Diesels guys got it before me. I got it just a little bit, the shakes. But he got it. He
had other issues too. I won't go into them here.
I know, but that was part of
his
it.
dog died. When RJ died, Mikey went into a tailspin and he never recovered.
Well,
His dog was his best friend's a big, goofy golden retriever.
He was in the Hamptons all the time.
All the time, man. I mean,
and that big truck, his name.
You got it. Yeah, one of my dearest friends, man.
See, we're like family. We're from the same area. That's great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, my stepfather was Winthrop Gardner, is in Gardner's Island and Gardner's Bay, and the whole, this family founded East Hampton practically back in the 1600s.
He was the diesel guy. I was more the gas guy.
I'm talking about Mikey. Yeah, right, right. Or he was diesel and inboard. He never touched.
I was certified Mercruiser.
So was he. Yep.
Right, but he was Argentina was mostly diesel.
So your stepfather was a gardener.
Yes.
And you're also a descendant from John Deere.
Yes.
So, wow. Okay, I'm a nobody. But anyway, okay, I'm gonna.
My mom married this cat in 1975, man, and he was great. I mean, he got
nice guy.
Back into boating, and he was just the stories of hanging out with Howard Hughes and Bob Johnson of Johnson & Johnson, and being a Navy World War II Navy test pilot, flying Corsairs and Hellcats, and what a life this guy had,
Hey,
why couldn't my mom marry Sam Walton or something?
Yeah, well,
hey, if you got any clout with the Johnsons, tell them my jets suck and we really need help, please. But okay, I gotta get to the tip of the day here. So so here's my tip. I've been fishing my whole life. Certainly had my fair share of deep sea fishing. Right, go to the canyons off Montauk and come out of the South Shore of Long Island. And the one thing I'll tell you is this. Here's my tip: respect the sea. Why?
God.
Not only weather, sea conditions, but animals. We don't even know the species that live in our oceans, right? So you got to respect it. And the other thing is, listen, you can make great memories doing what you're doing and fishing and going out with the family. And it could also be a nightmare, right? Like you experienced. So my tip is respect the sea and be prepared for anything. All right.
Pretty good tip.
I got another one. A different way of putting the same thing is Mother Ocean. She's wicked, beautiful, and she won't really just get mad at you. She'll just open up her arms and put you within her embrace.
Yeah.
And you'll never be seen again.
Never be seen.
Good one. It's just she's
That's her
wicked and she's
ex-husband,
gold.
Davy Jones.
And
He's
one other. If you want to listen to a really good song, all you rock and rollers out there, listen to a song that was on the Stills Young Band named Long May You Run is the name of the album. And the song is called Black Coral.
Good song.
And it's all about black coral fever and diving. And
great song.
Great
I know
song,
the song.
yeah. The whole album's top shelf.
Yeah. What's your tip, Glenn?
I gave you my tip.
You done
Don't
with it?
spray degreasers in the engine room unless you got a blower or something on. That it causes nervous damage is true.
Is that why you're like who you are? That's. Wait a minute. This answers every question.
Well, that's why
I've
you
ever
do
had.
drugs. You just get some degreaser, you spray it in the bilge, it's like, woohoo! NM!
So that's why Glenn is the way he is. Marlin, my friend. Any tip? Don't
I'd
feed the
say
sharks.
Don't feed the sharks and be prepared for anything. Keep a tourniquet on your boat.
Good man. Good man. We're so thankful to have you guys on again. There'll be many more times we'll have you on. And again, I just keep saying it, but I'm going to keep saying it. Thank God, thank Jesus that you're here. Thank God your father knows who he knows and he acted. And thank God for all the people that were involved. And just thank God because, listen, you're a young kid. You got a whole life ahead of you.
Yep.
And, man, you're going to have a lot of great memories. And you know what? Wear those scars as battle wounds. And I would show them off, you know.
He uses them to pick up women all the time. He doesn't have tattoo
scars.
Oh, look at
right. Okay, guys, we got to go. This has been fun, but I'd like to thank our producer, Micah Murley, and our production assistant, Samantha. For marine survey information, I am still surveying down here, so you can call same number, 772-773-2600, or go to our website, pinnaclemarinegroup.com. And please hit the subscribe, follow, or like button. And please tune in next Thursday and every Thursday for the Naughty Boys Boat Show. Every week we will have exciting guests, informative news, and may you have fair winds, following seas, and tight lines. God bless you, everybody.